It's not that things go badly. It's that we're not able to appreciate them when they go well. In other words, the problem is not a reality problem. The problem with a lot of people's outlooks is not an outcome problem. It's an appreciation problem. If you have a very negative personality and a very negative outlook, a pessimistic outlook, how can you possibly go into a classroom and spread any kind of benefit? It's no wonder so many people hate teachers. If they feel like they're not making enough money, do you think that they're going to give you their all? Do you think they're coming in every day excited to do what they do? And then they'll turn around and say, but you know what, you should go to college. Why? So I can be like you, feeling underappreciated, underpaid, and complaining about the job that you do? And why on earth would you ever want to emulate people like that? In other words, when you're trying to figure out what direction to go in life, look at people who are already there and see how happy they are. Do they seem like they're happy to be there? And at some point we have to recognize that the problem is probably not with the outcomes. It isn't with the job. This job's hilarious. If you don't see the comedy and the humor in this job, it's time to just move on and do something else, man. But if you can't appreciate the fact that you're overpaid, that we work half of a year, that we get all these sick days every year, that there's almost no accountability for what we do, I can't be fired unless I'm convicted of a felony. My God. I mean, the kind of protections that we have, and that, you know, and still get six figures, and we'll still come in and go, I'm underpaid, I'm underappreciated. This isn't what I want it to be. Well, then have the courage to go be what you want it to be. And there's a whole world of possibilities, there's a whole world of happy people. What do they have that you're lacking? And I would bet you it's that thing, gratitude and appreciation. Is there a bad and negative? 100%. What do you do with that? Overcome it, man. Challenge it, face the challenge. And then when you overcome that challenge, you can be happy and proud that you overcame that challenge. This guy, Emil Cioran, he's a really pessimistic guy, man. He's so pessimistic that he's hard to read. But if you read about the guy, you can shake your head and go, how could you possibly say the things that you say and then live the life that you live? It's an interesting quote to me, because he's saying that to hope is to contradict the future. And yet, look at the guy. Does he die a young person? No. You wouldn't even have to look at the years of his life to know that he dies as an older person. So the very fact that he survives as long as he does tells you that there was something about hope that he would have lived towards. The guy was pretty well off. He was a philosopher, which just means he was a professor. So he made a lot of money just writing things like this. It's a pretty charmed life. And oftentimes the problem in life is not the pessimism. It's not that things go badly. It's not that things go badly. It's that we're not able to appreciate them when they go well. In other words, the problem is not a reality problem. The problem with a lot of people's outlooks is not an outcome problem. It's an appreciation problem. Like I was telling you the story just now about the teacher who got their ideal schedule, and I was asking him how he felt about it, and he says, yeah, well, they'll probably screw me next year. He couldn't even stop to appreciate, bless you, he couldn't even stop to appreciate that something had gone well for him, and to be able to look at the coming year and go, you know what, maybe things will be better. Maybe things will be good because I have this ideal schedule that I was looking for. He couldn't even stop to even speculate, not even hope, but just speculate that things maybe might go well. He couldn't even reason and go, this is a good start, so maybe we can build on that. No, he just had to immediately go to the negative because it was a lack of appreciation. And it shouldn't surprise you for me to tell you that I knew him, and a lot of his life was like that. It wasn't just as a teacher. In fact, that's one of the scary things, is that this guy was a teacher. If you have a very negative personality and a very negative outlook, a pessimistic outlook, how can you possibly go into a classroom and spread any kind of benefit? It's no wonder so many people hate teachers. They come in and will tell you, hey man, you guys need to go to college. Do you really? Why do you need to go to college? What's the value in college? If I ask you that real question, what is the value in college for most people? It's really nothing. It's really nothing. It's a bunch of debt to study something that you don't really care about, because you're hoping to get a job that pays you a few dollars more. And and those few dollars that you get are going to go towards student loans, and you're going to end up having to take a job that you don't want just to pay for those student loans. You're held up in your life by 5-6 years. Instead, you could, if you went and got a job, you'd be 5-6 years ahead of everybody else because you started working at 18, and you're going to be higher up in the company, and your outcomes are going to be not too different. Now, when they say people who go to college earn more money, that's true with an asterisk, because people who want to become doctors and lawyers and engineers, well, you have to go to school for that, because that's because it's training for those jobs, and those jobs pay more. But if you take out those high-paying jobs, no, you don't earn much more going to college. It gives you opportunities, and by the way, the satisfaction, when people talk about being happy or not, whether you go to college or not, it doesn't make a big difference in happiness. People, we spend all of our time telling you, you have to go to college because you want to have a happy life. You want to have more money. Don't you hear your teachers all the time complaining about how little money they make? You guys know how much teachers make?
Not enough, apparently.
Not enough. How much is enough?
6 figures.
Yeah. Do your teachers make 6 figures? Isn't it funny? I'll tell you, we don't make enough. How much? No. I don't know about you, man, but I've had some teachers that if they made $10, they made too much. They go in there, they take a binder, they just copy somebody else's work, and then they repeat the same thing for 2 decades, and then they complain about students cheating, plagiarizing, when they're doing the exact same thing. Yeah, a lot of your teachers here make 6 figures. I made $103,000 last year doing this. And people say, it's a flex. No, it's a description. I'm telling you that because when you now hear people teachers complain about how little money they make, understand that's a personality that's going to carry over. If they feel like they're not making enough money, do you think that they're going to give you their all? Do you think they're coming in every day excited to do what they do? And then they'll turn around and say, but you know what, you should go to college. Why? So I can be like you? Feeling underappreciated, underpaid, and complaining about the job that you do? And why on earth would you ever want to emulate people like that? In other words, when you're trying to figure out what direction to go in life, look at people who are already there and see how happy they are. Do they seem like they're happy to be there? If you talk to, for example, you talk to doctors, if any of you want to be a physician, like for myself, I can't think of anything worse than being a doctor. I mean, except maybe prisoner, but other than that, being a doctor sounds terrible. You go to school for a long time, you get hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt, and your whole day is you walk in and you ask somebody, what's wrong? Oh, I'm sniffling and I'm coughing and I have a headache. Oh, you have a cold. Take vitamin C, drink water. Okay. And you go in the next room, what's wrong? I'm sniffling, I have a cough, I have a headache. Oh, take vitamin C, drink water. And that's all you do all day. Because that's what most people go to the doctor for, small things. And once in a while, you get something significant. And then they say, oh, your tests are back and they seem a little bit off, so we're going to send you to a specialist. In other words, we're going to send your interesting case to the interesting case person. And then you go back to just prescribing vitamin C and water. And then your whole hope for that kind of a life is, oh, I can't wait for my vacation, because you hate the job that much. Personally, it bothers me. I see teachers walk in the hallway where, like right now I'm hearing it, teachers are like, man, 2 more weeks to break. It's like, really? That's how you live your life? You look forward to not doing your job. And then you wonder why people hate your class. Why people hate doing what they do. Because you're giving that model. And then at the same time, you're going to say, but still go do what I did. It's insane. It makes no sense if we just stop and think about it for a few minutes. Why? Well, probably because their reality contradicts what they were hoping it would be. What were they hoping it would be? I have no idea. What else could it have been? You come in and you say, oh, you deal with kids. Yeah, that's like saying, oh, I hate playing football because you're always getting tackled. That's why you do the job. You sign up for that specifically. And at some point, we have to recognize that the problem is probably not with the outcomes. It isn't with the job. This job's hilarious. If you don't see the comedy and the humor in this job, it's time to just move on and do something else, man. But if you if you can't appreciate the fact that you're overpaid, that we work half of a year, that we get all these sick days every year, that there's almost no accountability for what we do, I can't be fired unless I'm convicted of a felony. My God. I mean, the kind of protections that we have, and that, and still get six figures, and we'll still come in and go, I'm underpaid, I'm underappreciated. This isn't what I want it to be. Well, then have the courage to go be what you want it to be. But that's because it isn't about what they wanted to be. What they wanted to be was just something different from what they are, non-specific. What do you want to be? So not this. I didn't ask you what you didn't want to be. I mean, you know people like that? You ask them, what do you want to eat? Not pizza. I didn't ask you what you don't want. I asked you what you do want. But there are these people who frame everything as just negative, negative, negative. And there's a whole world of possibilities, there's a whole world of happy people. What do they have that you're lacking? And I would bet you it's that thing, gratitude and appreciation. Are things perfect? No, of course not. And to even say that is just silly. Well, things aren't perfect. Nothing ever is. And the perfect is the enemy of the great. The perfect is the enemy of the good. If you have it good and you can't appreciate it because it's not perfect, again, the problem is not with the outcomes. The problem is with your perception. The problem is with your lack of appreciation. If you can appreciate small things, you can't help but be appreciative of an overall life. And that's something that a person like this is going to lack. To hope is to contradict the future. Yeah, because no matter how things turn out, you're going to perceive it as being bad and negative. Is there bad and negative? 100%. What do you do with that? Overcome it, man. Challenge it. Face the challenge. And then when you overcome that challenge, you can be happy and proud that you overcame that challenge. And there's no negative to it. It's like taking a test. How do you approach a test? Do you approach a test from this perspective of, oh man, it's a test? Or do you approach the perspective of, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to show everything I know. Two ways of looking at it. If you don't know this stuff, then you probably didn't study. If you didn't study, why does it bother you that you're going to fail? You didn't try. You didn't put in effort. It wasn't important to you. So don't pretend like it's important now, just accept it. And if you want to do better, here's the best thing to do. Do better. If you want to know material, study it. You want to be faster, practice running. You want to be a better carpenter, practice building. Whatever you want to be good at, you can be good at anything you want to be good at if you put the effort into it. And then if you put the effort into it, you can't help but be good at it. And then you can't help but be successful. And then the future can't help but to coincide with your hope. But outcomes, it's outlooks. So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? I'm gonna brag to my 12th grade class that we took a dark one and made it positive.